Hello. Today is Friday, October the 2nd, and we are going to be studying Unit 3, Lesson number 3. So, Unit 3, Lesson 3, use place value to add or subtract. That's our entire unit, and the specific name of the lesson for today is naming large numbers. Our learning target, today I will use correct language, value language, to name large numbers up to 100,000. Our essential questions remain the same for this entire unit. We're just going to continue to build upon them. How do we make sense of larger numbers? How does understanding the value of digits help answer real-life math problems? And we have a problem of the day. The width of the closet is 5 feet and the length is 2 times the width. If the shelving is 2 feet, 2 by 4 feet, how many square feet would there be to store additional items in the closet? All right, so we're going to pause and I'm going to give you a chance to read over it and to open up your math notebook and to go ahead and try to solve it on your own first. Okay, so you've had a few minutes to think about this particular problem. Now let's just imagine the closet in your own house. Just try to picture the closet in your own house and just think about a shelf that is inside of that closet. So if you've got a closet and there's a shelf inside of there, and that shelf takes up some space inside of your closet, but it doesn't take up all the space. Okay, so what this is really asking is how many square feet will there be left over? How many square feet will there be to be able to store additional items in the closet? So that's just like saying what space is not being used by the shelf itself. So when we go through, we do cubes, the important numbers. We got 5 feet, you got 2 feet. Oh, you got some key terms here. This is 2 times the width. You got 2 feet by 4 feet. And your question, how many square feet would there be to store additional items? And again, that's the same as saying what is left over. So what is available after, other than the shelf itself. So we need to build. Okay, so we can draw this. So we're gonna do the actual closet. So we're gonna put C right here for the closet. Okay, and we know that the width is 5 feet. So the width is gonna be over here, 5 feet. So if that's 5 feet, then this over here has to be 5 feet also. 5 feet, and the length is 2 times its width. Okay, so we got to figure that one out. So length, and let's see here, I'm going to have to erase that one. So length equals 2 times the width. And we already know that the width is 5, so it's going to be 2 times 5. So the length is 2 times 5, which is going to be 10 feet. So if this is 10 feet up here, this bottom part has to be 10 feet also. Okay, so let's take a look at the actual shelf. So let's build a shelf. We know that the shelf is inside of there, okay? But for space, we're going to move and just say that we're going to make the shelving out here, rather. We're going to put the shelving out here. So we know that the shelf is 2 feet by 4 feet. So the 2 feet, that represents the width, okay? So we're going to say the width is 2 feet and by 4 feet. So that means that the length 4 feet. Okay, so obviously that makes, if this side is 2 feet, since this is a rectangle, these have the same length for the width and for all sides. But these two sides are going to be the same, and these two are going to be the same. So that makes this also 2 feet. And so if the top part is 4 feet, the bottom part is going to be 4 feet. Okay, so we've done quite a bit, but we haven't actually answered the question yet. How many square feet will there be to store additional items in the closet? So how much is left over Now, in order to figure out what's left over, we need to know what is the actual area of the closet and what is the area of the shelving. So what's the area of the closet? What's the area of the shelving? Once we figure both of those out, when we find the difference, then we'll have our answer. All right, so let's figure out the area for the closet first. So remember, the area, one simple way we can do that is to multiply the length times the width, length times the width, and that's going to be 10 times 5 equals 50 feet. Okay, so the area over here for the actual closet is 50 feet. So let's go over here to the shelving. Go to the shelving. So now we use the same strategy, length times the width. So we know that the length is 4. We know that the width is 2. So that's going to be 8 feet. Okay, so the area for the shelving, I'm just going to put the S in there for shelving, and the area for the actual closet, the shelving is 8 feet with an area of 8, and the actual closet has an area of 50 feet. So we need to know the difference between those. So when we find out the difference between those, that means you have to subtract. So you have 50 minus 8. So you can use your calculator for this, 42 feet. Okay, so our answer is 42 feet over here. All right, so when you're building these actual rectangles, you can use multiplication to find your answers for the area, or you can, in fact, you can actually draw them out. And let's take the shelving here, for instance. We're going to take this one, and I'm going to do another one up here. All right, so we've said that's 2 feet by 4 feet, right? So the width is 2, and the length is 4. So what this 2 really means is that there's two rows over here. So there's 2 rows. That's one row right there. Here's another row right here. Okay, so the length is 4. So we have to give 4 columns for the length. So we're going to divide it up as evenly as we can. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and remember we said that the area was 8 feet. And we could simply multiply, or you can actually count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the area is 8 square feet. Okay, and we could do the same thing with the closet down here. Okay, you could do the same thing with the closet. That would mean you would have to have 5 rows over here, and you would have to have 10 columns going down. And when you added them all up in the middle, you would still get your same answer of 50. It'll be 50 square feet inside. So it'll be 50 squares, okay? So on our next slide, we're actually going to, during our live lessons, we're going to, let's read the instructions first. We're going to watch the beginning part of how much is a million. So as you watch, think about how big you think a million of something is, okay? So we're going to click right here. Now, just make sure you have to be logged into your Rapid Identity first, because this is going to take you to Discovery Education. So make sure that you're logged into your Rapid Identity first. And then you'll be able to click in here. So when you click in there, it's going to bring you up to the video, How Much is a Million? Okay. So our instructions are, and I'll go back. We're going to watch it. You're going to watch it all the way through, okay? And after you watch it, I want you to think about, as you watch it, think about how big do you think a million of something is? And inside of your math journal book, inside of your math journal book, after you watch it, I want you to write your thoughts down about what you think about a million. Okay? So after you finish watching it, I want you to write down your thoughts about this particular statement in your math notebook. Go to our next slide. What patterns do you notice in place value? Start at the top. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. So what I want you to do is answer the question inside of your math journal book. What patterns do you notice in place value? So write your thoughts into your math journal book. So some of the patterns that you should notice here is that each time I move down, the 1 moves over 1 place to the left, okay? And the value of that 1 increases by 10 each time. So here is 1, and now it's 10. So that's 1 times 10 is 10, and now it moves from the tens place to the hundreds place. So that value increases by 10, which is the same as saying 10 times 10. So each time I move down, each time the 1 moves over 1 place to the left, the value increases by 10. Another thing that you should be noticing is I started placing commas in. So the commas are placed after each group of 3. So the commas are placed after each group of 3. So 1, 2, 3, the commas there. There's 3, the commas, 3 digits, the comma, 3 digits, the comma, and for the number 1 million, after 3 and another 3, there's another comma. So every time after each group of 3, a comma is placed there. And it also names a period in a place value system by which we read the number. If you're watching the recorded video of this, you're going to go from this slide to our next one here, 2 down, that says explore. And here we have an example of a place value chart. Okay, so this is an example of a place value chart, and this represents the ones place and the tens, the hundreds right here. Okay, and you got the and over here you got the thousands. And our next slide here, we're going to go on to independent practice. And for this independent practice, you're just going to click the arrows pointing right here. You're going to click right here where it says read and write large numbers. And when you click there, it's going to open up a document. It's going to open up a Google form. And of course, just make sure you put your name on it. This is just practice for us, guys. And there are just a few questions on here that I want you to answer. And then after you've answered it, you're going to submit it to me. Okay? And this is all about what we practiced so far, not just today, but yesterday. So make sure to put your name there, first and last name. And you're going to read that number and you're going to write it in word form, the way that we practice it. And number 2, you're going to read the number 35,892. You're going to write it in word form below. Number 3, read the number 5,104. Write it in word form right here. And number 4, write the following number in standard form, 12,052. Okay. And standard form is basically you're just going to write it in numerals. So standard form is the same as writing it in numeral form, just the numbers themselves. Okay. And here you got write the following number in standard form, 10,422. You're just going to write it in the number form, which is the same as standard form. And if you need to go back to any of the previous slides or check in your notes to see how we practiced them, then I want you to go back. Okay, so here you've got, this is our last slide. So for independent work, you're going to finish out that previous slide that we did, which was read and write large numbers. You're going to do that on the Google slide. And second task is to finish up Dreamboss. If you haven't already, I want you to, well, even if you have gotten 5 lessons completed, I still want you to work on Dreamboss to get as many completed lessons as you can. But our goal for everybody is to get at least 5 lessons completed.